has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth. But we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
What's good, my dudes, dudettes, and folks of other dispositions? You can call me Nick. Allow me to introduce you to Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon is a really cool game, for sure. That's kind of an understatement. It's a roster builder, turn-based RPG where you hire different champions and figure out how their strengths complement each other, and then dive into an intense dungeon crawl to complete various objectives. There's a variety of different unique mechanics, from character positioning to the light intensity to the ever-so-straining stress mechanic. Preparation is everything when it comes to this game, and things go wrong all the time. It's all about how you handle it. So if you want to up your tactical turn-based gameplay, I would highly recommend checking out this game and letting it kick your ass a little bit. Because it will kick your ass a lot. So, let's jump right in. We're going to start a new file. And I'm familiar with the game, so I'm going Blood Moon. Who knows if I'll ever actually finish it. I have a bad habit of starting games, getting to a certain point, forgetting what I did in the past, and then just starting over again. So I'm very familiar with the beginning of this game.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient, pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path, you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
So for these first couple dungeons, probably just for this episode, I'll probably avoid explaining every movement that I'm doing, just to kind of get you used to the feeling of the flow of combat on its own, at least in the hands of someone that knows what they're doing. Here we are. Here's our broken carriage. A chest that we can't interact with, yada yada. These are our two starting characters. You always get these two characters at the beginning, Reynold and Dismas. Reynold's a crusader. He's kind of a paladin sort. His main thing is dealing damage on the front line and then taking hits as well. And then Dismas is a rogue. He dodges as well as can fire at the back row with his gun and hit people at the front with his dagger. He's a middle row character. But right now we only have 2 characters out of a total of 4.
Have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Here's our first fight.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival. Ringing ears, blurred vision. The end approaches.
A lot going on, isn't there?
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Let's push on. Hello, old friend. How are you doing this playthrough? Go back, he says. Not today. Not today.
An ambush. Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
So a big part of combat in this game is identifying targets that are a threat. Now, which of these two do you think is the bigger threat? Yeah, of course it's the guy in the back. And it's kind of because you can stun this guy over and over and over again. You don't normally want to go for the enemies with higher health. Nice. You want to go for the people that'll die quickly, so that way you can get the numbers advantage. And that debuff reduces dodge, which is exactly how you lose your rogue. If his dodge gets too low, he can't dodge the hits of the big guy once he starts swinging. Reynold can't hit the back row right now. And I think we're just going to deal some damage. I didn't stun again because there's a stun resist. Nope. Once you stun an enemy, they get a buff against stuns for the rest of that turn.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
I should have stunned. When I'm talking, I definitely don't think about my tactical decisions for whatever reason. I'm used to taking my time for sure. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see how well I can balance it all. Try not to skip their dialogue either.
Size has no intrinsic merit.
I forgot about the
Unless
torch.
Inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
And rest of you guys. Oh, we did get a key in the end. Alright.
Darkness closes in, haunting the hearts of men.
Ooh, got some trinkets and some deeds. That's very useful. And I'd love to tell you why, but if I talked about everything, we'd be here all day. I'll get into more details later. Those are both great quirks to get.
Welcome home.
Such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lambs, they are yours now.
And you are bound to them.
Alright, so we got 2 more characters.
And men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
Got 2 more characters. The first thing that we're going to do here is upgrade our stagecoach. The stagecoach is how you get more...
Great heroes can be found even here, in the mud and rain.
I'm trying not to talk over him. Because I can stop talking and he can't. The stagecoach is how you get more characters. and that's going to be very important as we continue on. You know, your most valuable resource are your units, and a lot of people say you have to kind of treat them as resources, but I like to find ways to really appeal to their needs and that sort of stuff. But it is a dark game, you know, this whole Eldritch themed. Everything is just crazy. Okay, so who did we get here? We got Lindsay? Lindsay? I'm gonna call her Lindsay probably. And Poyeli. Poi. I'm so bad with names. We got a Vestal and a Plague Doctor. Our Vestal seems to be geared more towards being a frontline Vestal, which isn't always a great thing, but she's got the skills for it as well. Yeah, I'll be putting her in slot 2 just to see how well we do there. Most of the time, Plague Doctors are best in the 4th position, which is the far back one. And a huge mechanic of this game is the quirks. These gold ones are good quirks and the red ones are bad ones. Obviously, if you don't know what an Eldritch enemy is, you don't know how important Eldritch Hater is. He's got an Eldritch one as well, and you got a Manslayer. That's really good for Reynold, because it means he's good against undead enemies as well as human enemies now. God, I gotta stop talking about the stats and get into the meat. Let me clear these exclamation
Most
points.
will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion. In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Ooh, we got a team name, Tricky Glory.
Trinkets and charms, gathered from all the forgotten corners of the earth. A mecca of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
And I'm making decisions on who gets what trinkets really quick. I probably won't. Nobody really uses Blight in the first Ruins dungeon, so we're not going to do trinkets this time. I normally have a checklist.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
So, like I said, everything... How well you do in a dungeon is determined upon how prepared you are when you're going in. And it takes a lot of experience, I guess, to really know what you need in a dungeon. Luckily, the first dungeon's always the same, so I know I only need 8 food at most. That's overestimating in most cases. 2 shovels, 2 keys, 8 torches. I don't need anti-venoms or bandages. And I think that's really all we need for this first dungeon. So let's jump right in. So the ruins are just one of many different dungeon types. I think there's 7 total. There's the main 4, kind of a challenge run where you just keep fighting enemies after that as a 5th dungeon. Then there's like a 6th dungeon where it's a little bit harder than the main 4. I would say actually quite a bit harder, and then there's the darkest dungeon at the very end, which is the end goal, so to speak. Alright, here's our first expedition. Gotta pass by the torch there for now. We might come back for it later. So up at the top you can see the torch level. Right now it's a dim light. And we surprised our enemies because the light is so high. Different people will tell you different things when it comes to how bright your torch should be, because as you can see there are positives and negatives, and as I change the level, everything changes. So it's good to keep in mind. The biggest thing is how much loot do I want? But the loot doesn't matter until the very end of the battle anyways.
Executed with impunity.
So you normally want to keep your light up until the very end of the battle. But even then, you don't want to do it. Like, for example, I know this battle isn't going to give very good loot.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
So I'm just going to leave it as is. and push forward.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
I know, buddy. Trust me, I'm familiar. I'm gonna do one more torch here, please. Identifying which enemies are the threat is very important because they do stress damage. And stress is a mechanic that we'll get to as it kind of goes on, but that little white bar below the red bar is your stress level. Once that reaches 100, your characters will go crazy, and they'll start basically triggering other people's stress, and then they will get stressed out, and everyone starts stressing each other out. It's really interesting to see how people react to it at first. What's my accuracy here? It's all the same. Yeah, let's go for it, I guess.
A death by inches.
But yeah, that stress mechanic. And then once it reaches 200, your characters will start having heart attacks, which is when it will affect their health. Very, very important to keep calm at all times and take your time to make decisions when you need to.
Sedated.
So there will be moments where I have to pause and just figure some stuff out. I'm actually already making a lot of mistakes. Oh, come on. It's the whole talking thing. I still gotta heal though. A big thing to note is that you can only heal inside battle over and over and over again, and the only way to get health outside of battle is eating food. But you want to save the food for when you're hungry. So that's a factor. Alright, what's the speed on these guys? They're the same? Get rid of this guy.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Get us done, come on. Nice. Vestal? Nice. A little bit of a reward for doing everything right, and
Secrets and wonders can be found in the most tenebrous corners of this place.
check out that loot difference compared to the last one. Now that our torch is low and there are no enemies around, we're gonna backtrack. Ooh, and we got a scouting chance as well. That's great. Oh, there were enemies at the end. And we're already eating our food, so now we're already at half food. Okay, okay. What enemy are we gonna find? Do I use torches or do I not? I'm betting it's just gonna be maggots. Well, it's okay too to be like, okay, I need more torchlight for this fight. Yeah, we need to start dealing damage early. Alright, this throws a wrench into everything. Nice. I'll be really focusing for this fight. I mean, I guess. He doesn't really have any dodge difference. Let's try for a crit.
Momentary abatement.
A crit heal. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really focusing here now. We're gonna build up momentum for our rogue there.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
So we can outdamage these guys. Oh, I don't have a Plague Doctor's heal. So each character can have 4 skills. It's kind of like how many moves a Pokemon knows. 4 skills out of 8, and you select the 4 anytime that you're not in battle. They're getting pretty good speed rolls. Yeah, keep healing the rogue. There we go. A little bit of leeway. Nice. Sure. That's okay, he's dead next turn anyways. Okay. I think we just stall from this point. I could kill this guy, but then I won't have any more heal turns after that. So we're gonna stall. I guess that works. Solid. Keep stalling. Actually gonna lower the light now.
The darkness holds much worse than mere trickery.
To try for better crits on our heal. 1. So as soon as there's only 1 enemy left, you're on a timer.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered
And it's a
pitch of
3-turn
battle.
timer. But, shoot. There's a lot that goes into this. Holy cow. I thought I could explain it all. There's no friggin' way, but we're doing our best. We're doing our best. Once there's 1 enemy left, there's a 3-turn timer for you to do any last-minute healing or anything like that. But we're at decent health right now. We're just gonna take him out.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Alright, let's continue on to the treasure chest we left behind. And get our Vestal up. Oops. Another shovel. I want to put Vestal in slot 2 because she's kind of outfitted for that.
A handsome reward
Eh,
for a task well performed.
wasn't that much. Loot is loot. Another huge thing is your inventory management, because you only have, what is that, 16 slots? So you end up abandoning the things that you don't need, but you also kind of need to over-prepare a little bit. Yeah. Just so you don't run into anything.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
Alright, so a trick to keep in mind on this map here, any room that has an icon on it also has enemies in it. Even though it says, oh yeah, it says room battle with treasure, yeah, okay, so it says it too. I actually have never read that before. How many torches do we got? 4 left after this? 2's fine. 2's a decent level. I'm pretty liberal with my torches. I would say the largest enemy to deal with is the archer, but he also has the most health. And if you take out the enemies in front of him, then he's not in a good position to fire. However, we can probably disorient him. Nope, didn't work.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Okay, I'm actually gonna kill this corpse. Yeah, that'll clear it. Should have thought about that. There's a lot of things to consider for sure. Let me do this actually. Man, they're resisting everything. Let's get some stall going. Do want to focus on healing, which means I need to move my Vestal back a space. If it's the only thing you can do, might as well try it. Yeah, nice.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Alright, we're at good health, so we can finish the fight. Solid, solid. Any crits? No crits.
Sedated.
We're actually going to keep the torchlight up for the end of this fight. Because the fountain...
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
The fountain doesn't have treasure, so it doesn't matter what the light level is when you activate it. Divine benefit. Yeah, this music's kind of hard to sing along to, so I'm definitely taking a much different approach with this game compared to other games. Just because it's so intense and immersive in itself. Let's see if Reynold touches it. Yeah, I thought so. I knew you were eyeing it, buddy.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Reynold's quirk, kleptomaniac, causes him to take items. That's how detailed this game gets, you know. Oh, I have a lazy eye, so my range skills aren't that great. Etc., etc. Okay, we definitely need more torches for this fight. I would rather have torch level 3 for this fight than the next one, so... And it's only because this dungeon is the same each time. Quit dodging. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I want this one gone. Solid. Our Plague Doctor isn't doing too hot, all things considered. Yes, exactly. He's bleeding a little bit, but I think we're gonna be fine. Rip.
Blurred vision. The end approaches.
Whenever an enemy gets a crit on your characters, they all freak out just a little bit. It's interesting what causes stress and what doesn't. I think for the most part they've done a pretty good job though of figuring out, yeah, someone would be not happy in this kind of situation. Extra stun, perhaps? Nope. We're gonna keep his crit chance low, which is what that debuff does. We do have a chance to take him out, but I do want to heal. Let's stall.
Darkness closes in, haunting the hearts of men.
I still want to heal. Yeah, let's get a solid one on Reynold. Yeah, if he survives, then let's get another turn in. I didn't start my counter. I don't know how many turns I have left, which means I probably shouldn't stall much longer. Come on, Vestal. Nice. Alright. When you get a crit heal, it also resolves stress, even if it was just 2 HP. Alright, I think I have to take this. Yep. Ooh, we got some of the blood.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
It's hard to pick what to talk about and what not to talk about. But obviously the blood is not important at this stage. All we know is that we have it. Man, who knows what all this stuff means if you're not familiar. It's a fun game, guys. Trap here.
Ancient traps lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood.
Reynold, don't touch it. Oh. We got a different quirk? Did I miss that? Oh, she doesn't take it. She just needs to search for it. What is that? Oh, Hylomania, of course. Obsessed with material things. A lot of people have Hylomania nowadays. I'm one more for experiences, personally. But to each their own, for sure, for sure. Get this out of my way.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
Alright, this is the last dungeon, which means use up all your resources, or rather, last fight. Reynold's fine, he's a tank. And then the torches, of course. We've seen such horrors already! Maybe I should voice everybody. There's too much going on already. There's no way I can do voices in this game. Sorry. Maybe I'll do it for boss fights. I don't know, maybe if I get really good at it.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
Remaining calm is ever so important. Alright. You need to stop doing damage.
The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
Nice, that'll take care of him because he has 4 health left. And the damage that the Plague Doctor's Plague Bomb did, this right here, this Plague Grenade, at the bottom it says Blight, 4 points for 3 rounds. That means every round for 3 rounds, the skeleton's taking 4 points of damage. You can see his health on the right side there, Bone Arbalist, HP 4 out of 18. So, even though I'm not talking about it, I'm always keeping an eye on the enemy's HP and seeing, you know, will the damage of this move be doing what I need it to in order to take him out. Plague Doctor, I honestly don't know what to do with you here because all these moves don't do anything at this point of the battle. Let's get a little heal
The
going.
wounds of war can be healed,
Heal as much stress as we
but
can,
never hidden.
but I probably just should have done damage. That's okay. 1. Gonna move you up so the Vestal doesn't get hit anymore. Plague Doctor can't be used at this point in the battle unless I bring him up one more, I suppose. I think stress healing is more important than anything else right now.
And now, the darkness holds dominion.
I've turned down the light so we would have higher healing crits, but oh, he really wants that Vestal in position too. Two, 3, he's stunned. Yeah, the rogue's out. We're just gonna kill this guy. Take what we can get.
This expedition at least promises success. Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Alright, that's the first dungeon. Here's our loot in the end. We got some of the supplies that we had to start with still. Lots of shovels. A couple bags of gold. The blood. This is a trinket. I could have put this on somebody if our inventory was getting scarce, but luckily that didn't happen. Got some gold bars, but yeah. And then these things, the crests, the busts, and the portraits, as well as the deeds we got from earlier, those are probably your most important resource. And then after that is gold. And then after that are these little things like the jade and the gold, or the citrine bars, where they also are valuable with gold. So you gotta kind of do a little bit of finances and like, okay, is this worth as much as 3 of these, or which one do I need to abandon if inventory space gets scarce? A lot of stuff going on in this game, you guys. Let's go though. Nobody got stressed out. Lindsay, or Line C, I'll get the names wrong all the time, got real close to getting stressed, but we got overall positive quirks. This is great.
I can still see their angry faces as they stormed the manor. But I was dead before they found me. And the letter was on its way.
I love the narrator for this game. The voice actor choice, oh, what was his name? The voice actor choice was just golden, perfect. He's an experienced Cthulhu, what is that genre called again? Drawing blanks here, guys. A lot of stuff just went through my brain.
The cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight. The abbey calls to the faithful. Fresh kegs, cards, and curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike.
We're gonna end the episode right here. Yeah, we got our first dungeon in. Welcome to Darkest Dungeon. Nothing went wrong. Nothing too bad, at least. And everyone survived and stayed under control. We got a bunch of new quirks. We got familiar with our starting classes. You always get the Vestal, Plague Doctor, Crusader, Highwayman at the beginning of the game, and then each day after that you get a whole new shuffle of characters. Sometimes you get doubles, like another Crusader or the Plague Doctor, but then you get new ones like the Shieldbreaker here and the Occultist. They all do different things. They all have different roles, and depending on how your party is composed at the start is how your dungeon will turn out in the end. And there's a lot of preparation. Every time I come back to the hamlet, I have this little list right here that I use. I have to keep notes every now and again when I play this game, just to keep track of everything. But we'll do that in the next episode. So, my profound thanks for watching. As always, I appreciate your time. You know what to do if you enjoyed the video. And next time you can expect us to do another Ruins run. We'll pick one of these 4 for our next run. I'm not even going to think about it right now because I'm doing the outro. But yeah, I'll catch you next time. Peace!